On this week's episode of the Peach Life podcast, we are joined by Kels and Jay. Follow along as we talk about their build, remodeling along the way, and how friends can always help you get out of sticky situations. Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I'm super excited to talk to you guys and, hopefully get some good information out there for people and learn some stuff along the way.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us.
Yeah,
happy to be here.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I love following along on your guys' channel. It's awesome. It's fun to watch. For some of us that want to be on the road but maybe aren't there yet, it's always nice to kind of get to live our life a little bit, through other people along the way. So, I imagine a lot of the times that was the way it was for people that end up getting on the road like yourself. You end up, falling in love and watching people's journeys along the way that help you get there. So, it's always
how it starts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And it's just, it really is. It's cool that it's catching on. YouTube, I think, is really helping the whole community just build and grow like crazy. So for you guys, what was kind of the big thing for you guys, deciding to build a schoolie and get out on the road? Kind of, it's a big life change for anybody that makes that jump. So, what was it really for you guys?
I think the thing that pushed us to do it was we have it actually on the side of our bus. If not now, when? It was there's never going to be the perfect time to do it. And right now we don't have no mortgage, no house. And it was if we don't do it now, there's probably not going to be a better time to go and experience this kind of lifestyle. Mm-hmm. So that's what kind of forced us time frame wise to jump in and do it. In terms of why we're doing it in a bus, I think we're just a bit crazy. It was just I wanted to do something different. And then I used to live in England, and I always had this dream of doing a yellow school bus. But in England, that's not a thing. There's no such thing as your typical school bus. And then I met Kelsey, and then we came to America, and I was wow, now I can actually do it. It just kind of fell into place.
Yeah. And I think it worked out too, because I had just gotten my master's degree, and we came back, and I was working the standard 9 to 5, and that kind of, while I learned a lot and it was a really good experience, I kind of just looked around and was is this really going to be the rest of my life, for the next 30 or so years? And so Jamie kind of presenting that idea just made it make that much more sense. And then I think having that job also kind of allowed us to work extra hard now, because I'm I don't ever want to have to go back to that lifestyle and that life, because we like it so much now.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's funny that you said living over in England and liking the yellow school buses. One thing I've loved for years now is how over there people have the canal boats, and they live in those and it's not a thing here. And the same thing, it's I would love to find one of those that I can renovate and live in, but it's not really a thing here.
It was the same what you're saying, yeah.
Apparently there's a company now though that ships yellow school buses to England.
To England, yeah.
So you can, I don't know what the cost of that is, but it is becoming an option.
Yeah, with you guys, so after building the schoolie, I love to ask people, would you guys what would you do differently if you guys did it again? Size-wise, rig, altogether? I think it's an important question to find out.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I think we kind of go back and forth a lot on this with size, because obviously going to certain areas, national parks, navigating this big 36-foot bus can be difficult. So certain times we're oh man, wish we had a van. And I know that's kind of a common thing, people downsize a lot from big school buses to vans. So we've thought about that, and then we look around. Sometimes we'll be sitting in here on a rainy day and be it's just so nice to have all this space. And we have van friends who come in here and they're wow, you guys have so much space. So it's I feel you have to sacrifice certain things to have a bigger space or to not. There's just benefits of both, and you kind of have to see what works for you. Right now I'm happy with the size of our bus and things like that, but we definitely have already made quite a few changes to it as we've kind of gone gotten along and like gotten further into our journey. We've made one pretty big renovation, painted everything from white to black, because white, although it looks really nice, it gets dirty super fast, especially when you're traveling. And then we just like little things. I don't know. You don't think about it when you're building it because you're stationary. But then once you start to move and everything's like moving around, you're like, oh, wow, that was kind of a stupid idea. Like it was Pinteresty, but like, for example, the cork board that we had on our wall, we used to have to like take everything off of it, put it in the sink, and then put it back on. It was just such like
a cool, but it just didn't work.
Yeah, and it would be nice in a regular house, but then like it's just so different living in a house versus living in a house that moves.
And like to do another build, I feel like we've learned so much from this one. They would like take half as long.
Yeah.
There's so many things that like until you live in it for like 6 months or whatever, you don't notice like the smallest of things. Like I would have put like 12-volt sockets everywhere, because you can get like a transformer that charges like say a TV monitor that runs off 120. You can get a transformer that transforms it from 120 to 12 volt. So then you could basically have your whole bus run off 12 volt, and then you would never have to have your inverter turned on.
Okay, and just use that just for like little individual ones throughout the the bus need.
Even like just to like charge your laptops. You can charge your laptop off 12 volt with the transformer thing and like all these different things.
That's a big tip that I think people don't probably know that you can. That's interesting.
You could get away with doing a bus without any 120. You can, because like our fridge can go 120 or 12 volt or 24 volt, depending on how you put your batteries in. But yeah, you could get away with having no inverter or that whole system.
Wow.
But like stuff like that, you don't know that until you've been living in it and you're like, wait, I don't really use these outlets, or I don't know, there's just a bunch of stuff that we could do again and it would be half as quick. And I think the thing Kelsey was saying with like the size, where it's like some people opt for a van, some people opt for like a 40-foot school bus, or Alex, his is like 26-foot.
Alex is our good friend. We've been traveling with for like the past 4 months or so.
He's a great guy.
He hasn't gotten sick of us yet. So.
But it's like it's completely custom to like how you're trying to travel. If you're like the type of person that's like shooting around every day, like going from, maybe you're seeing like a couple spots in a day, then a smaller rig is like, that's for you. But like if you're trying to go boondock in the desert for like 2 weeks, like you need a bigger rig.
Yeah.
Because like if we were like boondocking like for 2 weeks in one spot in like a very small, like a van for instance, I don't know how that would go. Yeah, unless you have like a really cool outdoor area where like you have like a rug and tables and chairs and everything outdoors, it would I don't know, that would be tough. But like if you're zipping around going like cities and like sleeping on the street like stealthy, then like we could not do that in this bus. No. Like we have to plan like so much when we're traveling. Like if we're trying to go to the city,
it's hard.
We have to find like a warm-up parking lot to park in, and then we explore the city on our bikes. That's like our strategy. But like if you're in a van, you can just drive anywhere and like you don't have to think about anything. And like clearance, we're like 12'6", so like we have to take that into consideration. Yeah. So I think the bigger the vehicle, the more you just have to plan.
Okay. Yeah, because that's a big thing out there is, and one of the things that I'm really trying to get out there for people is that it's a big decision that people are trying to make, and kind of finding ways to help. Like you kind of almost need to know, how are we planning on traveling? That really depends on the size of rig someone might decide to get. And so yeah, that's a big thing to take into consideration for people. Yeah. With your guys's with the remodel, you guys, and that's one of the questions even asking, it's like, it's cool to see that you guys have already lived in it a while, seeing like what can we change, what can we make different, and it was it's nice to see you guys had found those things that you could do better, or make work better for the situation.
Yeah, I think one of the main things with our remodel is Jamie and I are not organized people at all. So we kind of realized that living in a small space, everything needs to be organized. So that was like one of the main things, is like having a spot for every single item that we have, and like the kitchen, like having the bars that keep it, what's it called,
The hinges.
the hinges, like just like simple things like hinges in our cabinet doors, so like when you open it, it stays open and you don't get hit in the head with like food coming at you, like just like little things that happened along the way. So yeah, I think definitely just like living helped a lot. And if someone, like for example, if someone's just starting out, maybe they could go to different festivals, see as many different school buses layouts, because definitely like meeting more people along the way, like Will and Kristen and Alex and Justin from Gilligan Phantom, like we've seen their buses and been inspired by different things that they've done, and we've all kind of, it's actually funny, Will's doing a renovation right now, Alex did a renovation, like you see other people's buses and then you're like, oh wait, why didn't I do that? So then like you're kind of, you learn other ideas and pick up other things from other people along the way.
Yeah, I wish we'd have seen way more like buses before we built ours,
Yeah.
because we'd never been inside like I'd never been inside a school bus, let alone like a schoolie, before we did this. So like we had no idea. So like I wish we'd have gone around, or even like just like FaceTime some people so they could show us their bus or something.
Yeah.
Just so we had like a better idea of like what works, and then like you can steal everyone's like ideas.
It's also one thing to like see it online, but like to go and see it in person, like it's such a different feeling. So yeah, I think definitely, I know it's hard right now with like everything going on in the world, but like hopefully in the future it'll be easier to go around and like see different people's buses and vans. And there's even a website where you can rent people's like school buses, schoolies, vans.
Oh, really?
Vehicles.
Yeah, so you could take it for like a weekend and like really like get a feel for it.
How is tiny living, like the transition? How has that been for you guys? Was it hard, or are there, some things you've learned along the way that maybe for people out there that are maybe just doing it, that, kind of help with? I mean, even like, you were saying like everything needs to kind of have a place, you can't have things that you don't know where its home is.
So I think we kind of had it easy because we didn't transition from a house. We transitioned from a room.
Yeah, bedroom.
So like we upgraded. So it's like, I don't know. I think originally I was like, oh, there's no way I could live in such a small space. And now it's like the perfect amount of space. We're always like, I don't ever want to like move into a house, or like we just love how everything's so like together, and like you could be in the kitchen and then you could just go to the bedroom so quick, and everything's just like within reach, especially for us because we're
tidying the bus is like super fast. It's not like a half a day chore. It's like 10 minutes, tidy, sweep everything out the door, done.
And we've definitely been more mindful about like what we buy. I'm not just buying stuff to buy it. And Kristen from Number One Bus is actually so good about like minimalism and being like mindful about each object, like taking an object and basically being like, does this give me any value? And if you haven't used it for like a month, and it's less than $20, I think is the rule, then you can just throw it out or donate it. So different things like that we've definitely been more mindful of since living tiny.
I think it was quite an easy transition all in all. Mm-hmm. Like it wasn't really that hard. Like we've never been people for like things. Like we don't really have that much stuff.
I am a sucker, like when I go to Marshall's or TJ Maxx. So like, I used to be like a huge sucker for that. I would end up buying all this stuff because TJ Maxx gets you. If you go to it, you're like, wow, it's only like $5, and then you end up with a whole cart of stuff that you didn't need when you originally only needed like slippers or something that you didn't even end up getting. So
oh yeah. No, I mean, even behind us here with all the knickknacks, it's like that's like, oh, for us it's like thrift stores. Like we're a sucker for thrift stores. We love to go to thrift stores and find random little things, and at least try to keep things. But yeah, in any tiny space, I mean, and now we have kind of two here that we're using, but it's still so hard, keeping anything tidy. But you're right, it really only takes 10-15 minutes to pick up, and that's it's really nice having that ability to just couple minutes and you can clean everything up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the pluses.
And it also gets messy in like 1 minute.
Yeah, but then
so.
on the other end, it gets messy super fast.
Yeah, it's really one of those things you almost like have to create a good habit, like a good habit every day of keeping stuff kind of picked up when you have a tiny place, or it does definitely tend to pile up real fast.
Yeah,
Gets out of
that's for
control.
sure.
You guys have It's been really cool watching and following along as you guys have kind of traveled with other people and really seeing how amazing the community itself is, the schooling community, um, how good it is having other people around, and just learning things along the way. Basically, I mean, it's always safer to travel in a pack, but you guys have really have been helped out along the way by all these other people that you've been traveling with. So that's a really cool thing to see.
Yeah, we always say that's the best part about this whole experience has been like the nights where we meet people and um I don't know, I think everyone's been actually nicer and like more awesome than we thought they would be, like Will, and because obviously we watched Will and Kristen and Justin and Val when we were doing our build, so it was like really cool to kind of meet our role models and then become like so close with them. And yeah, I mean, Justin and Val were there for us when we broke down, and then we've broken down a few times. So like it's always nice to have people there for you, or people come back for you and just try to help you. They're like our guardian angels.
Yeah, like Justin and Val, they had an issue with their air system, and they were in Joshua Tree, and then they put it in the group chat like, "Hey guys, this is what's going on," and then like within like 6 hours, Alex and Will and Kristen from Number One Bus, they were there with the part for him. It's just like that story in itself is like that is the community is like a
Yeah.
whole. Everyone,
Yeah.
if someone's within like 10 hours and you need like something, like someone will drive 10 hours without even questioning it.
Or
It's
you
just
could like reach out on Instagram and be like, hey guys, like I have this issue. You'll get like so many responses back from the community. People always genuinely trying to just
people
help.
just taking their time just to give you advice. It's just I feel like we're all just in this community for like the same reasons, like the right reasons. We're just doing it for like the love of travel and just like trying out like a different avenue of almost like share common values. It's just like we all just get on so well.
Especially if you do the conversion, because you understand the pain
Yeah.
that goes through it and you just laugh about it. And I don't know, I think we're all like an equal level of crazy, because I haven't met anyone that doesn't want to do another build after doing a school bus conversion, even though it was so painful and so much work. We're all like,
let's do another one.
Yeah, we're like, let's just do another one. So like, I don't know, I think it's a really common thing, which is really cool.
Yeah, no, that is true. Even after building this, I thought the same thing. Like, it didn't take very long for I was like, okay, well, if I build this, but like 2.5 times the size and put a loft, it's a full tiny home. Because this one wasn't quite. I mean, you could probably make it a tiny one, but if I built it basically 2 times or 2.5 times big, it would be a really nice, kind of tiny home. So it's always nice seeing that people are always wanting to do the next one. Same thing with our trailer. It's like I'm happy we've remodeled, we've done everything. It's like, okay, when are we getting our next one to to kind of refix up and do.
Almost like it's addicting. Yeah, once you get your hands on that first one and you finish it, that feeling at the end when you like just look around and you're like, wow, I built all of this. And
it's the best.
Remember when we did that, or when we picked out that paint color and it spent a full day arguing about that, or like just like different things that at the end, like you look back and you're like, wow, we've come so far.
Yeah, the getting to see what you've built and like live in every day. It's for everybody that I see or talk to. It's like it really is a different experience. Once, like that you get to live in something that you put your kind of your heart and your soul into building.
Yeah, on that we posted a post on Instagram yesterday where I was like, sometimes we sit here and we're like, we literally have everything that we need, everything that's important to us right here. Like we could be anywhere. We could be like in Walmart parking lot. We could be like on the beach on the Oregon coast, and we have like everything right here that we need that makes us happy. And like we built it. It's like it doesn't seem real. It really doesn't. I'm like, wow. like too naive, just like
Yeah, very naive.
we
in
had
the
no
beginning.
clue what we're doing. And a few bits of wood and
Just a few bits of
lots
wood.
of lots of tears later. We did it. It was nuts.
Yeah, sometimes in the process, it's you know, you look at it when you get done and you're almost not sure how you did it, you know.
What the hell? We did this.
Yeah, I love what you were saying because it's kind of true. It's like all the best places that are out there. And you know, everyone's different, but for me, they're out there. They're Yosemite, they're rivers places. You know, there's and if you can take all the important things to you and sit it right on that, you know, by that mountain or by that river or you know by the beach or whatever, it's like what you know what can be better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no more comforting feeling than having everything there that you need.
Even just being at a Walmart, I'm like, Jamie always laughs at me because I'm like, there's just so much going on outside and we're just in our bus, like just hanging out, chilling, and it's just like so comforting. Like, I don't know why, but it is. And I love it.
Yeah, how about with safety? I know things like people. I've always seen people kind of tend to worry about that. Like, do you ever notice, in especially in like Walmart or places like that, that you ever you know run into any difficult situations or?
So in the beginning, before we even left, I was like, what are we gonna do for security? Like I don't know. In my head, I was so terrified about that, and I know that's like a huge fear for a lot of people.
I
Once,
think it's a justified fear.
yeah,
Yeah, no, it really is.
and I don't know if it's like bus conversions or what. I know I've never heard of any school bus being broken into. I don't know if you have, but like
Oh,
vans,
I really haven't.
yeah, vans. I've heard of a ton of people. I don't know if it's because like people don't think people are living in the van, so they break in thinking there's going to be tools, or whereas like a school bus, I mean, especially ours, it's like very obvious that we're in here, and like they probably think there's nothing valuable. I don't know. I don't want to jinx ourselves,
Yeah,
but
touch wood.
yeah, we haven't had anyone try to break in at all. We have like a camera set up in here, which we like barely even use, to be honest, because we haven't really had a fear about it. We always make sure we check reviews before we stay somewhere, and
That's smart.
yeah, we did have one
Yeah.
bad experience,
But that was like a proper fluke. We had this one experience where we were out in like the woods somewhere. We didn't have like cell service. We were parked at like a trailhead. It was on Overland. It was like a spot, whatever. And then there was just these like locals that came and like tried to mess with us. They like pretended to be police and like spoke on a tannoy and made us come out the bus, and it was pitch black. It was like this big thing. But other than that, we've never had like anyone.
I think they were just punk kids, like, and you're gonna get punk kids like anywhere you go.
Yeah,
you know?
that was anything.
It was a weird. They were harmless, and I don't know. I think they thought we were hippies. They were like asking if we had drugs.
I mean, if you've seen the paint job on our bus, I mean,
Yeah.
I probably think the same.
I was just like, what are you talking about? And then Jamie went out, and Jamie should not have gone out and approached them. I was like, let's just leave.
I gotta protect my home. But
We've had much debate about this.
Other than that, nothing. Like we've never had anyone like knock on the door or try and break anything.
No issue. Yeah, because I mean, you know, following a lot of different channels, you see, you know, there's definitely issues with police certain places. You guys tend to not stay in cities as much. You definitely on, you know, maybe some channels of people that tend to do a little more urban stuff. You definitely see a lot more issues of maybe having to think about security or dealing with police and things like that. Because
I think as long as you're just respectful where you are, like you respect them and they respect you. I don't know. I think it's just being respectful, like not dumping like where you shouldn't, and like not emptying your pee like
Cleaning
where you
up after
shouldn't.
yourself.
Just being mindful of the area you're in and respecting it.
how about with traveling with pets? You know, you guys are passionate and very passionate about your cat, and
Our baby.
I think a lot of people, you guys take her out more than I think most people that you see. And, do you have any tips or anything that's helped you guys along the way with people that are traveling with cats? I mean, it's kind of, I think a lot bigger of a worry than with people with dogs.
Yeah.
I feel like I need to get her. Hold on.
Yeah.
She can
Should we
answer
get
this.
her for that?
Of course, grab her.
Are you doing your makeup?
She was just doing her hair.
Oh, here she is.
She looks so mad. She's like, you woke me up for this?
She's out of here.
I just wanna beep beeps. I'll be here for a minute. So with Pippa, I think the most important thing was getting her acclimated to living in the bus. So just like us, when we first moved in, we had a few months to like get adjusted and get used to like filling the water and just different things that you don't have to normally do in a house. And we kind of slowly would introduce her to the bus even before it was finished, when like the subfloor was down, and like there was just like we would slowly bring her in and then
like
get her
one
used
time
to it.
turn the engine on for like 5 minutes and just slowly ease her into it.
Yeah, so now because we've done it like that, this is literally like her safe house. Like we'll bring her outside, but she'll go outside for like a little bit, look around, maybe like walk around a little bit, and then just run right back to the bus when she wants to.
Yeah, whenever she gets like spooked when she's outside, she runs straight back into the bus.
And another thing that kind of made me feel more comfortable about bringing her is we have a tile on her collar. So if we ever were to lose her, we could like call her.
Okay.
So that's like that's
a really good tip out there that I would not have thought of that would, seemingly work perfect. So yeah, for anybody out there listening, that might be a really good option.
Yeah, it's really good, especially like if she ever goes out, like she's an indoor cat, but like if we're hanging out just like at a very remote area, she can just like sit outside with us. But like if she was to ever like disappear, you can find her like on the map on the app, and it's really good. And then even like when she hides in the bus, like she'll find places in the bus that I didn't even know existed.
More in the beginning, when she would be really mad at us, like we'd travel for long distance. She still wasn't used to like the being in the bus, like as it was driving, so she would hide
in some weird places,
and then we would just call her and find her.
Yeah. She was in like the fuse panel at one point, and I was like, how the did you get in there? I was like, what are you doing? But yeah, you can ring the thing on her collar and it makes like a noise, and then you can find her.
Now, did you guys just figure that out yourself, or did you guys learn that from somewhere else?
We were trying to find like a pet GPS thing, but like none of them were really like that good.
They were all expensive. They were like $200 or $150.
Yeah, they're really expensive. So that's kind of
a like a subscription every month, like $30 or something. And I was like, for what? Just like a GPS thing?
Yeah. So with the tile, you don't need a subscription, and the one we got was like $20, and then it lasts for a year and a half, and then you just have to like the battery goes, and you have to get a new battery or just get a new tile.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a really good tip that I think is pretty beneficial for people. For you guys, when you're out on the road, are you guys boondocking most of the time, or do you guys do a mixture of campsites and things like that along the way?
So when we started out on the East Coast, we started in like New England. There's really not a lot of like boondocking spots there. There's like casinos and like obviously there's Walmarts, but like there's really no like national forests, like 14-day limit places. So we got a 1,000 Trails membership, which is like an RV membership where you can stay at a bunch of campgrounds in like different regions. Like you buy regions of the country for like $50, and then you can stay at each campground for 4 days, and then you have to move. So we did that a lot in like the East Coast, and then like moving across the like Pennsylvania, Michigan.
And it was also a good adjustment to living in the bus, because boondocking is like amazing, and now we mostly boondock, but like adjusting to not having unlimited water and like getting used to your batteries and how long they last and just stuff like that. I think camping helped make the adjustment a little bit smoother.
But for me, it also made me hate RV parks.
Yeah.
I hate them now. Like I can't like to go there, especially like I get it, like we're a school bus and people have a lot of like stigmas and judgment about like they see like this school bus coming to this prim and proper RV park where all their rigs are like $100,000 or whatever, and people turn their nose up to us. I understand, I get it. I'd probably do the same if I was in their shoes. But like just the whole vibe of like RV parks, I just hate. Like you can't like work on any projects outside. Like you can't be running your saw, or like maybe you want to like work out outside with your top off or something. Like you just can't do that. And like the vibe is just, it's just horrible. I just don't like it.
Yeah, and it's like you were saying earlier, like the getting around other people, like with the schooling community, it's kind of like you're meeting like-minded people, kind of, you know, and like you said, and it takes that sometimes. Sometimes it takes being out in the desert and you know, fixing half of a bus, you know what I mean, like you know, sprawling things everywhere. Yeah, you're not going to be able to do that at a campground. So having some of those
It's
boondocks,
more
you know.
like a retirement community. So it is nice.
I
and,
mean,
like,
it's good. If I had an
it's
RV, it'd be great
relaxing.
because like you'd fit in and like you say, like-minded people. But that's just not our.
And
That's just not where
we've
we're at.
met nice RV people.
Oh yeah,
like,
I've
there's
never
nothing
met anyone
wrong.
that I'm like, oh you're a piece of whatever.
There's just more rules. I think there's more of like you have to be in your bus by like a certain time, or like just you have neighbors like
you can't
so
have like
close to you.
visitors come, and
Yeah,
it's a weird vibe.
but what
So,
what is nice, and I mean, it seems like you guys are kind of saying that too, though, that for people that are especially on, you know, cross country, getting, you know, one place to another, you're not trying to stay. It seems like those places like Thousand Trails, kind of some of the few different ones out there, Harvest Host, are good to have if you can have it and just, you know, have afforded it. They're not, you know, overly outrageous, and sometimes it can be that thing that kind of helps along the way, get you through to that next stop, or if it's just there for a night. But I do know what you mean about the you know, the uncomfortability of kind of the different worlds clashing sometimes.
And they can be expensive too. Like if you pay nightly, like you can pay up to like $80 or something a night.
But you mentioned Harvest Toast. We use that a lot. Like I love Harvest Toast.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
If you like to drink, then you like Harvest Toast.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're always staying at like such unique places, and they're always local businesses, so you're like helping them out.
Yeah.
Because you're always expected to like spend, I don't know, like $30 or whatever, like buy some wine, or if it's a brewery, have a tasting, or a farm, you just buy some local produce or something. And it feels nice because they're all local businesses, and they're always pretty areas to stay.
Yeah, and it's places you wouldn't go to unless you saw them on Harvest Host, because they're normally like smaller places that you've never heard of. And the other day we went to a brewery for my birthday, and we were literally it was like we rented it out for my birthday, and the guy told us how he's been struggling since COVID, because he's only been open for a year. So like Harvest Host has really helped him stay open, like stay in business, I think.
Yeah, Harvest Host is awesome. It's a really good thing to have, just those like night, because you only stay one night, so it's like perfect if you're doing like a 8-hour drive and you just stop in the middle at Harvest Host.
Some of them let you stay like a few nights.
Some do, yeah. You can get lucky with like, yeah, if it's like a farm or whatever.
That's awesome. Yeah, I really like seeing that there's, you know, becoming more and more of these kind of helpful things that, you know, because like you said, I mean, you know, you could either be parked over on the side of the road or at a place like that, like at a brewery or a, you know, a winery, you know, anything like that. So that's really cool and seeing and what's I find cool is that, you know, in almost every conversation I've had, that, you know, people have had different experience, some good, some bad with some of these different ones, but it's just nice to see that it's a good resource out there for people to kind of be able to stay along the way.
And it's so cheap too. It's like $85 for the year.
Yeah, it's nothing.
And then it's like, if you want to get the golf membership, which obviously Jamie wanted to because he loves to golf, it's like $130 for golf, farm, wineries, breweries, distilleries.
If you're a golfer and you like live in a van or a bus or an RV, whatever, Harvest Host is sick.
Yeah.
You can stay at the golf course, play in the evening, wake up, play in the morning, and you get a discount. Right there.
You normally get a
golf
discount.
Courses are like so pretty to stay at.
Yeah.
So that's nice. And another one that I don't think, sorry, I'm off on one right now.
Yeah, go for it.
A lot of people that I don't think know about is Boondockers Welcome.
Yeah.
We really love that one. So Boondockers Welcome is like it's like people that have RVs, vans, whatever, and they let you stay on their land, because like they understand like how hard it is to find free places to camp at.
Okay.
We've stayed at some really cool spots through Boondockers Welcome, like people that just offer their, say they've got like a 5-acre plot of land or whatever, you can go stay on it. The first place,
one, that guy was so nice.
our first trip, yeah.
He was like, I just want other people to experience this because it's so beautiful here. It was like you had like a private beach.
It was
in
on like
New
a lake
Hampshire.
with a beach. He had like 3
Wow.
acres of land.
And he was so nice.
And
Everyone's so nice. That I mean, you have to be to let like a stranger stay on your land, right? Like you have to be really outgoing and nice. But yeah, that one's only $60, I think.
For the year or something.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
It's so
Wow.
cheap.
Okay,
but
so
it's-
that one is called Boondockers Welcome.
Yeah.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
think we
Awesome.
would like getting paid to say all this? We always get so excited when we talk about them. We should.
No,
work
but it
on
really is. I mean, it's so meaningful for people out there. I mean, it's one of the biggest things you're thinking about every day is where are we sleeping tonight? You know, having it be as easy and as comfortable of a situation as possible is, you know, is the most convenient.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
There's-
Boondockers Welcome, you can stay for up to like 5 nights.
Yeah. Some people
Depending
say.
on the
Some
host.
people are like, yeah, just 1 night, and then some people are like, yeah, you can stay for 5 nights.
And then they
it's
just
like,
extend it.
it's all on their website, so it's not like you have to like speak to people. It's all done from like messages, so it's not
Yeah.
like you have to ring people and say, hey,
If you don't like speaking
can I
to
stay
people
on
like
your
Jamie.
land?
That's really cool. I wanted to ask you guys about, you know, kind of the craziness of last year and you guys doing your 50 and 50. I thought that was a really cool little project you guys were doing and wanted to talk about, you know, that and, you know, your plans for it, you know, as you move through, you know, through the States.
Yeah. So I think it happened when we first left is we were kind of like, we wanted to like set a goal for ourselves to like accomplish. And also with like everything going on in the world, like obviously everyone was feeling down and like, I don't know, we just wanted to like, as 2 normal people, try to do at least one act of kindness in every single state that we traveled to. And we're not like David Dobrik, like we can't like just give away cars yet.
You get a Tesla.
Yeah, which is like what I mean. The kind of goal is to like build up and like do something better in every single state, which has been kind of like a hard challenge to set for ourselves, just because like I don't know, it's just hard to like keep coming up with new stuff and finding stuff, especially now with like volunteering being
Volunteering is
limited.
really hard at the moment.
It's really hard, but we've kind of found ways around it, like whether it's just giving someone flowers or just donating food to a shelter. When the fires happened in Oregon, we actually got stuck in the fires, not in them, but like we were at a shelter where everyone had to evacuate to, like in the parking lot of a casino. So we kind of experienced like what people were going through. Like we didn't experience it ourselves, obviously, but we were there, so we witnessed what was going on. And it was horrible. So we wanted to obviously give back to those people. There was a school that was like collecting supplies from people who had lost everything. So just like little things like that as we've traveled along the way, we've tried our hardest to kind of do little things. Our next one, which I'm kind of giving away, but we wanted to get back to the schoolie community. And there's been 3 schoolies recently that went on fire and like just they were destroyed. So we donated to those 3 different people, and we're gonna make like a little section about it on our YouTube to try to help other people if they want to contribute to our 50 and 50 with us. So yeah, there's just like different things like that.
Yeah, I really like the with the graduation. I really thought that was probably really meaningful for, you know, people look forward to that, and to have it be such a weird year where, you know, that people didn't get to have kind of some of those normal experiences, whether it was, you know, like prom or graduation, kind of the normal, I don't know, rites of passages that people go through. So I thought that was really cool and probably really, you know, meaningful.
Yeah, thanks. We just wanted to just give people the nod that like graduation might have been tough, but like you did well, kind of thing.
And we're thinking of you. We got a couple messages from the kids that
it was
got
nice.
it, and they were really thankful. So yeah, I don't know, just you think like doing something small wouldn't make a big difference, but like we just kind of wanted to like show people that it does, like anything that you can do, even if you can't contribute a lot, it still does matter and it still makes a difference.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't even have to be like anything of value, like dollars wise. Like it can be It's
note,
the
just a
gesture,
note
it's
saying
the,
like you are enough or you're beautiful. Like
it's
we
the
just left
thought.
notes. Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, gestures mean more, than we think.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, 100%.
What are some space saving ideas that you guys have learned along the way?
The table.
Oh yeah, our folding table. You need one of those.
Yeah.
Just like I think, just you have to think about everything that comes into the space. So every time you pick something up, whether it's like a notebook or like just something, like you need to think like, do we really need this? Like, do we need this? I don't know. Now I can't think of an example because we don't really have anything to show. But like, you just have to make a conscious decision of everything you bring into the space of like, do we need it? Are we going to use this once every 3 months? If so, we probably don't need it.
Yeah.
And having like multiple functionalities for different things. Like for example, this couch run, this folds out into a sofa bed and then it goes back into a couch to save room. And then Jamie's favorite item in the bus, the fold out table, it flips out. So like when we're both working, we can be on it. And then when we want more space to maybe work out, we can put it away and then just have like more space and more areas. So having multiple functionalities, I think, for items is a big must if you're living small.
I think one thing that I regret is not making the outdoor space more usable. Like maybe if we had like an awning on the outside or like an outdoor kitchen or something like that. Because there's so much.
Or outdoor shower even.
Or outdoor shower. Just like expanding that space to the outside.
Yeah. And there's a lot of like things that you can do, like you're saying. I mean, people build, like kind of pull down like decks off the back. People build, there's all kinds of little things you can build to kind of help utilize that space better. Yeah, like you say, like a pull out grill. I've seen some cool like pull out tables on them that literally a whole table just pulls out, so there's.
Yeah, we have one at the table. That was like as far as I got. I did the table and I was like, wow, I wish I'd have made this table like the whole length of the bus. So I don't know.
So yeah, it's like, I mean, there's some really good options that you can do out there. Yeah, an outdoor shower. I mean, I know, for Justin and them, it's like they were like just fine with using their outdoor shower for a while. Like, oh, we'll get to the other one when we can. But so having that extra space to use outside is cool.
But other like space saving things, I think like Kelsey said, just having a space for everything, especially like with driving, because like if things aren't secured down, they rattle and it's just such an annoyance. But like if you have a space for the coffee maker to go that sits in a perfect divider in the drawer so it doesn't rattle, it holds the function of keeping it secured in place so it doesn't move when you drive, but then also it has that place to go back to.
Yeah, so for people that are, especially that travel, are traveling a lot, like every day, it's like you have to have things set up where you don't have to fill your sink full and your tub full of stuff every time you're going to travel, and then kind of reset everything back up. So having as many things as you can that can kind of stay in place.
Yeah, that's what when we first started, like we had so many things just like out, like just like plant pots and candles and things hanging up that we had to take off and put in the sink.
But tack becomes your best friend too. This like.
And then we got like the museum putty that you put on like the bottom of everything.
Like this stuff, the blue stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it like you put it on all our plant pots and like nothing has to move. You can put it on candles so everything can just stay in place. You can drive. And like you say, you're not filling up the sink every time you want to move 10 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, that's cool. I haven't so is that just like stuff you can buy on Amazon, just like that, some putty?
Yeah, it's called museum putty.
Museum putty? Okay.
It's meant for like RVs and stuff, so you can put it on everything and it just stays like.
Or the blue tack. I think museum putty's brown, right? Or is it
blue? They do the same thing.
Yeah.
But
the blue is like more noticeable. So
yeah.
Museum putty.
The museum putty's nice because it's white and you don't really see it too much. White.
Awesome. That's a cool little, I mean, it's not really necessarily space saving, but definitely hassle saving for sure, because there's driving down the road having things falling all over the place is not fun.
The amount of like coffee things we've broke.
Yeah.
What are we on, like a fourth one?
I stopped buying coffee stuff because it broke. So now I just have I only have the filter like to put it, and I just pour it over and just hope for the best.
That's awesome. today. What future destinations do you guys have coming up? Are you guys going anywhere right now? I know you guys going through. Are you guys in still New Mexico still?
We're
We're in New Orleans.
just before New Orleans.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
flying.
you're flying, yeah.
We booked it. Yeah, the last like 2 weeks we've drove from like, where do we start? Phoenix.
Yeah.
Now we're in not even 2 weeks. It's been like a week, right? I don't know.
I don't even
Quick.
know.
We've
That's the
done a
thing.
lot.
Time is not a thing when you're traveling. It's
We've
like,
just been booking it because we were stuck in place for so long. We're itching to drive.
and we're going to Florida, so we have a few jobs. We work for Jenna from Tiny House
Yeah.
Giant Journey, so we're doing. Florida has a few different tiny houses there that we're gonna film, and then Will and Kristen are there, so I think we're gonna meet up with them at some point. And Justin's there, so like Florida's kind of the place to be in the summer. And Jamie's never been
In the winter.
or sorry, in the winter, not in the summer, definitely not in the summer. So yeah, we're gonna go there and see some friends and do some work and be on the beach. And
that's cool. It
enjoy it.
seems like the community has kind of a migration patterns, that you probably see every year for the different communities.
Yeah, it's Arizona and Florida, I feel like.
Yeah.
For the winter.
Yeah.
Then after that, we are.
Jamie has his Ironman.
Oh yeah, I have an Ironman to do in Oklahoma in May. So we're probably just gonna do like Florida, maybe a little bit the East Coast, and then head to Oklahoma for like May-ish time.
Okay.
But other than that, we're free as a bird.
Yeah, we're hoping to head to England once we're allowed to.
Yeah,
He's from England.
I haven't seen my family in ages.
In over a year, so we normally go home for Christmas, but we couldn't this year because of like travel restrictions and obviously just not wanting to put anyone at risk. So yeah, as soon as like the vaccine's out and we can travel again, we're gonna go to Connecticut, which is where my home base is, see my family, park the bus there. Pippa gets to spend time with her grandparents, and then we'll fly to England for like a couple weeks.
Man, thank you guys so much for joining me. This has been awesome.
Yeah, thank you for
thank you.
having us.
It's been fun.
It's been a blast.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Peach Life Podcast. Next week, we will be joined by Austin and Ginny as we talk about their bus build and some of the really cool options there are on the road for people exiting the military. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for new episodes each week. Find us on YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes.